Well, I was pretty certain that Transformers 5 was going to be the best King Arthur movie this year, but you didn't have to make it so obvious ahead of time.
Yeah. So yeah, we just saw King Arthur, Legend of the Sword,
Yeah.
from director Guy Ritchie. So what'd you guys think of King Arthur, Legend of the Sword?
I enjoyed it,
It was
but that
kind
might
of
just...
better than Snatch, kind of.
Speaking of,
But still-
it's funny.
still pretty
Every
bad.
time you say Snatch, I just keep thinking of Guy Ritchie's film Snatch. It's just without the ED.
Quite a coincidence that it would come out on the same weekend.
The only difference is Snatch is about stealing a diamond when this is about when that movie is just about like I didn't see a review, so it's just about the people getting snatched or whatever.
Yeah, okay, so, I kind of have to say, at the very beginning of this movie, it starts out with, like, some sort of, a sort of mysterious suspense, because it begins very quiet, and there's just a slow pan-up shot to that tall tower, and then the top of it gets lit, and I was starting to think, is this movie actually going to be good? The rest of the movie is nothing like that at all.
Well, I mean, also it does right after that there is a title like the world is like this blah blah blah. When usually movies do that, they're usually. I think there's some movies that are good, but most movies that are like that usually aren't very good after that. They usually just kind of go.
Okay, so this really didn't really need to be all that much of a King Arthur movie, because it's just the most just kind of the most generic hero rising up storyline,
Rebellion movie, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
there's the
I remember when I
kingdom
saw
that gets
the very first Comic-Con trailer for this. It was sometime when I was doing my medieval class. Except we weren't actually learning about the King Arthur this is based on. We were learning about the French King Arthur, who was kind of a wuss. Because in the French stories, it was Lancelot who was the hero, the original French version. But when I saw the first trailer of this, I didn't really like it because the very first Comic-Con trailer wasn't very good because it was edited kind of weird. Like it had this weird fast pace at the beginning, and then the rest of it was just kind of serious. And also, once I read the synopsis of the film, I was not looking, because it was like this whole because it's just they basically just took King Arthur, and then they're just like, but this time he's in a rebellion, and he has to go up against his evil uncle who's taking control, and he has to stop him or whatever, and it's just like,
yeah, no,
I was not looking forward to it after I read that. But then after seeing the second trailer, which was edited much better, I was like, okay, this actually looks more interesting to me now. And
yeah, this is. Yeah, it's just the it's a story that's been done to death. I mean, an evil uncle, kills his brother, aka the hero's father, and he takes over this kingdom, and
it's a rebellion story. Yeah, and of course there's a love interest. I just
sort of, but
well, because she's Genevieve, and he ends up marrying Genevieve or whatever, and then Lancelot kind of
but but the part where he starts flirting with her when they're
yeah, that scene was weird because right after when that scene,
because just a few minutes earlier, who was it?
His friend, a friend of some lady at the brothel he used to work at.
I mean, he saw her get her throat slit just a few minutes earlier. Did you just forget?
Yeah, I know. It's just like you can't really follow up. Oh no, my friend is dead. With hey baby, want to see the real Excalibur? You can't really follow up something like that. It's just like it reminds me of Nostalgia Critic's review of Spider-Man 3 with the dancing scene. I'm a monster. It's just like it's weird.
My only question is, why does he need an army? Seriously.
I know, because he's able to just
he's just doing really fine on his own.
Yeah, he blows an entire army away with just one swipe of the sword.
This guy needed an army?
Although later on,
bull crap.
Later on, though, he doesn't just do the same thing. He's just using it to pick off guys one by one until they surrender. Yeah.
But it just...
And,
But I did want to bring up this movie has this editing style that Guy Ritchie's used before. the thing is, it works fine in movies like Snatch or Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels because those are crime comedies. They weren't supposed to be taken seriously. But this movie wants to take itself seriously a bit. Sure has humorous parts, but it just kind of feels weird with the rest of it, especially because like they'll do really fast like edited scene, then they'll follow up with like a really serious scene with Jude Law, like I'm going to take over, and then there's like a weird scene with all the sirens and like, I'm just like that was weird.
Yeah. Then there was that really obnoxiously fast-paced discussion where it keeps cutting back and forth to the guys talking into something that happened
Actually,
earlier,
dude.
and yeah,
There's
like
a lot of that. They
it's
do
like
that a lot in this
it's
movie.
like the camera like waves from them to what happened before, like it's an episode of Malcolm in the Middle. It just doesn't work. Is this like I don't know, Monty Python's King Arthur or something?
Yeah, well,
Not to mention when one of them goes,
Tis
whoa,
it-
when one of them goes,
Tis a-
whoa,
tis a-
back up. You actually see people backing up like the movie's rewinding.
well, yeah, because this movie's it's basically trying to make King Arthur cool for our generation. They're trying to make like I mean, to make it even more obvious, they should have given King Arthur a leather jacket and sunglasses. But it
They
just
did
feels like,
give him a leather jacket.
Yeah.
well, they
Listen-
kind of they gave him a jacket, but I'm just saying, well, but they need the sunglasses and the slick back hair. But it's just
Although,
like,
didn't we already get the new generation King Arthur in Once Upon a Time?
Once upon a time.
Oh yeah.
Actually, Liam Garrigan, who played King Arthur in that show, he's going to be playing King Arthur in Transformers 5.
I don't know. I didn't. I don't remember King. Which one was he in?
It was in the latest season.
Oh, because I stopped watching Once Upon a Time like after
And
season 3.
There are
season
going to
4.
be no more seasons because they lost Jennifer Goodwin. They lost Snow White. They lost Prince Charming, and now
What do you mean? They canceled it, or
the actors just quit.
well, just because the actors quit, I mean, they might find a way to continue without them. But
Emma, and the actress for Emma left too.
yeah, I'm just saying that they still might try to continue. But I'm like, I stopped watching that show after like season 3, so I just like after season 3, I'm like, I'm done. It kind of got monotonous after that point.
Yeah, so the editing in this movie is more annoying than Underworld 5.
Nah,
The music is also really overbearing.
I don't know. I think worst. I think the editing in Blood Wars was way worse in that. Like that was just weird editing, and at least this movie looks a lot better than Blood Wars. Like Blood Wars looked like made for TV movie levels. Like this at least looked like a
Yeah, at
movie.
least, yeah, sure.
I don't know. I mean, the breathing. When it comes to the music, though, I thought the breathing was yeah, but I thought the music itself was actually pretty.
Yeah,
good for the most part.
that one part of the soundtrack where it sounds like I don't know, like the composer was hyperventilating.
That was, but I thought the music itself was fine. I thought there were some tracks I enjoyed, but
I thought it was just really overbearing and way
don't know. I
too
think-
loud. So
the worst scene for me though was the scene where what's his name was in the tower and with his crony, Jude Law with his little crony guy. That looked really bad. Like it looked like Star Wars prequel levels of bad green screen there. The rest of the film looked okay. At least they used some real sets on like Gods of Egypt. I don't know. I actually. When it comes to music, I actually like this a lot better, especially because a lot nowadays music and scores and movies are so boring now. It's it's like they don't care. Like just go, just like, like it just like they don't. It's like they don't scores or not. Just like it just needs to be there to be there. We don't care.
and
I thought, besides the breathe, I did think the breathing was a little weird, but the rest of it was fine.
yeah, so I really didn't find anything of really of substance in this movie. It doesn't really have any real respect for the actual legend. In fact, Merlin never even appears in the
They
movie.
mention him though.
They mention him, yeah, but
Well, from what
I don't
I
know.
understand, he never really.
in the original stories, Merlin was actually the son of Satan. It turned good or whatever. But because back in the day, like magic was not like if you put magic in a story, it was like no, you're not allowed. So they turned him kind of in, so they had to make him like a devil except he was good or whatever for magic to be used. Because if you used magic in a story and said it was good, it's like nope, you're going against God. Can't write that story. So they had. But now it's like if they write Merlin, he's just a wizard.
Okay.
Because there's no one's gonna complain anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think this movie is a little detached from the legend. I don't know.
Yeah.
For the most part, I wasn't enjoying the first half, but I did start getting a bit more interested during the second half, but still not great.
Yeah, I can't say I ever did. It's really just, I really just found it way too silly. A few days ago, I watched the Anton Fuqua King Arthur from 2004.
He made a King Arthur movie?
Yeah, he did. It was supposed to be like a demystified King Arthur, like what his story might have been if King Arthur was a real man.
Oh, you mean the one with Clive Owen? That was
Clive Owen, Keira Knightley, yeah.
That was Anton Fuqua?
That was Anton Fuqua
directing. Oh my god,
yeah.
I found a movie he directed that I don't like. Yay!
Yeah, so that movie.
Why was he with the Romans?
I know it really doesn't make sense because the Romans actually withdrew from Britain 57 years before that movie takes place. So yeah, you really can't buy it as what King Arthur's life really was if he was a real man, because his very existence is still debated. And so that movie's not good. It's pretty mediocre. But the thing is, it still actually felt like a medieval epic, even though it really lacked in the epic category.
This movie
this
felt,
was just yeah,
because this movie felt like one of Guy Ritchie's early crime thrillers, just with a medieval like twist on it. Because that was my biggest problem, especially with this movie, is that I love fantasy movies, but the problem is we don't get very much anymore, except for like The Hobbit was like the last one I can think of. Except there's also Seventh Son and stuff, but we don't get many of these anymore. And so I was looking forward to this one at least for a while.
Yeah.
But there still really isn't many fantasy moments because you're mostly just hanging out with King Arthur and his crew. I'm just going to call him his crew, not his army. He's like hanging out with a crew.
Yeah, and they're just having conversations that go by so fast that they're really hard to follow. So,
also the opening credits, they play the do-da-do-da right after his mom gets shot. It's just like do-da-do-da-da-da. It's just like, my god, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, the opening credits start like 8 minutes into the movie, like late to the party here.
Yeah, also,
I mean, I can understand the title sometimes,
also
but
another problem I had too is there was a lot of predictability in this movie too. Like I knew that one girl at the brothel was gonna die, and when they showed her, like when he's like, oh, then she died, right? Then I knew he was also once they were on the road to, and he was gonna start hitting on Genevieve.
They never say her name.
They never say a lot of people's names, but
well, they mentioned Percival.
Yeah, they don't say a lot of people's. But it was.
I thought it was Morgan Le Fay.
You thought she? Yeah, probably wouldn't be. But Morgan. So, what you liked it, John? Though, would you have anything to add about what you liked about it and stuff? Because I wanted to get your opinion on it.
Well, I actually liked the cast.
Yeah, I thought the cast. That's another thing I did like the cast.
This is probably my second favorite interpretation of King Arthur on the character.
Why?
He just felt like a king. Like we see where he see how he.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't really feel like at the end he's a king. He just feels more like a guy who's in charge of a crew or something like that. I don't know. Because what they're trying to do here is that, like I said, they're trying to make him cool and interesting to our generation, and it just isn't. Like I said, I don't hate this film completely. I just think that, especially, I like how he defeats the villain at the end. Now he tells him, like, yeah, basically you're the one who brought me on this path or whatever. That was really cool. Though I thought I don't know why the villain's final form looked like Shao Kahn. Look at his final, ultimate,
I thought it was
monster form looked kind of ridiculous. I I don't know. I feel they should have. I feel like they went too far to trying to do their own thing. That I felt that it kind of doesn't feel like King Arthur to me for the most part. It feels like just dude trying to become king, I guess.
Okay.
But what did you say? Do you have anything else to add why you liked it, John?
I like the
The cast. I did think what they had, what the cast I think did a good job, too. I think they were. I think that what they had to work with wasn't all that great. But continue, John.
I just felt. This might mostly be because I just saw Snatched and I was so horribly disappointed.
I thought you didn't.
Understandable.
Were you looking forward to it?
Yes.
Why were
I
you
was,
looking
because it looked funny. I thought it was gonna be funny.
Oh,
I knew it wasn't.
I know. I thought it looked. For me, it just looked okay.
Yeah. So, the only thing I really found serviceable in this movie was the 3D. It was actually pretty well done. Just
yeah, actually,
that's pretty much it, though.
I
Everything else about it.
But I did agree the cast was doing well with what they had, even though that what they had wasn't that great. And also, this movie was produced by Akiva Goldsman, and just like every time, I'm just like. I mean, I've heard Beautiful Mind's pretty good, but everything I've actually seen from Akiva, I've not liked, because I've not seen The Beautiful Mind. Everything he's written, I've not liked very much.
What about some of the Schumacher movies, Time to Kill or The Client?
Lost
He wrote
Boys.
those. Yeah.
I didn't see those.
I don't think he wrote Lost Boys.
The only Joel Schumacher film I've seen that directed by Joel Schumacher I've seen that I've liked is Phone Booth. I saw Lost Boys and I didn't like that one so much, but Phone Booth is really good.
Yeah.
That's like the only good like Schumacher.
I honestly didn't mind Batman Forever either, which
I like Batman Forever.
Yeah, certainly not a gem, but still enjoyable.
But I don't think Goldman actually wrote that one much. That actually had other writers. But he was definitely the writer for Batman and Robin. Though I enjoy that one like as a guilty pleasure. So I guess I enjoy that one. But most stuff he's done, I've just been like, eh.
Can we?
Okay, so
wrap this up?
yeah, we probably should because. All right, so yeah, I just found this movie too boring and too silly. The editing's really bad. The soundtrack is thundering. So pretty much, it's only the 3D that saves it. So I give it a D-.
I'll give this a C+.
Do you have anything else to add? You're just gonna say C+. You don't have.
I don't. I can't think right now.
So
It's hard.
this one, I disagree on the soundtrack. I like the sound. I like the sound for the most part. Except for the breathing was a little weird, but yeah, I didn't like the editing very much. I did like the cast, even though what they had to work with wasn't all that great. And I did start to get more invested into it by the last half. But there were a lot of parts where I was bored, like especially with Jude Law's evil brooding crap. I didn't care. I like Jude Law, and I thought he did okay with but his villain, actual character was pretty, and just I'm evil. Like you basically just need to give him a mustache to twirl, and he would have been perfect. But I don't know. I'm just gonna give it a C. For me, it's more just mediocre than bad. This is not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's definitely one of my least favorite like King Arthur things because it just feels like they're trying to change the King Arthur legend so much that it just doesn't even feel like King Arthur. And besides just mentioning a few things, it's just like personally, if you want to see King Arthur, I would just say read to like Excalibur or something, or I don't know, not the Clive Owen one. That was pretty boring.
So we have one new trailer, and it's the second one for It Comes at Night, which reveals that the guy wearing the gas mask is actually Joel Edgerton's character.
He's not a killer, I guess. Or
yeah, I guess not.
Unless
the twist is that he is the thing that comes at night, even though you see him a lot during the day too. So.
So, is it a disease? Is it a monster? What's going on?
I guess it was that woman who was like dripping that black gooey stuff out of her mouth.
I think that was one of the family members or something. I'm not sure.
Okay, maybe it was a disease then.
Or it could have been an hallucination.
Yeah. I don't know, but maybe that's the great thing is that unlike a lot of trailers, this one is really keeping you in the dark about stuff.
Yeah, more trailers like like as much as I enjoy the Kingsman Gold Circle trailer, I still don't. They still have to spoil Colin Firth alive at the end, and there's like, of course, and there's the Rogue One. They spoiled that Darth Vader is going to be in it. X-Men Apocalypse spoiled that there's going to be Wolverine.
Okay. Well, so
Are you
this...
sure there wasn't another trailer we haven't talked about yet? I thought there was another one, but
I'm not sure. I mean, by the way, did you say your grade for King Arthur?
Me? Yeah, I said C.
Okay. All right. So definitely not a great week at the movies, but next week looks more promising.
Alien Covenant.
Alien Covenant. We've also got Everything,
Good night.
and also Diary of a Wimpy Kid: The Long Haul.